Hey guys, this is MageSight, and this is going to be a Raid Shadow Legends video. So it's Monday, and we got some news. We have the Halloween fusion. Let me move myself out of the way. So we're just going to talk about his kit real quick. And as always, in this channel, we're going to kind of focus on how good he is for mid-game players. On his A1, we have attack one enemy 2 times. Each hit heals this champion by 10% of their max HP. If the target has no active buffs, each hit also fills this champion's turn meter. It's kind of whatever. I don't think it's a super crazy ability or super bad. It's just kind of meh. Then we get to his A2, and this is the one a lot of people are interested in. It attacks all enemies, decreases the duration of all enemy buffs by 3 turns. Now the point on that is, it's not a buff removal, but if you're reducing it by 3 turns, there's very few buffs in the game that are longer than 2 turns. It's basically a buff removal, but it doesn't say that, so it won't hit polymorph. So a lot of people are saying there might be a niche application in Arena. Problem is, this guy is Force Affinity, and that means Affinity will become an issue there, and it will probably need accuracy for that. It also has a second sentence here. If there are no enemies with active buffs, it grants them an extra turn. That could be powerful. Always grants an extra turn if Kaja the Rai is on the same team, even if there are enemies with active buffs. So this means that he'll always get the second turn if she's there. We're going to look at this champion by himself. I mean, yes, he's a duo, and then Kaja is going to be his duo, and obviously she will make him better, but the process of getting her may be very difficult or just straight up RNG through shard pulls. So we're just going to look at him as him. So we kind of ignore the bottom of that. Now the extra turn is interesting. If we go to his A3 here, we attacked all enemies before attacking, places a 50% increased accuracy buff on all allies for 2 turns. Places a true fear debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. Both his A2 and his A3 are on 6 turn cooldowns. Now you get that extra turn, so it could work like a 3 turn cooldown on his A2. You know, it doesn't seem super great that they're both on 6 turn cooldowns. We'll look at his passive real quick. Whenever an enemy skill successfully activates while they are under a fear or true fear debuff, fills Timid's turn meter. Whenever an enemy skill does not active because they are under a fear or true debuff, places a provoke debuff that enemy for 1 turn. This particular effect only applies when Kaja is there. So again, you know, she'll make them better. And his auras increase ally accuracy in all battles. Now that we've read his whole kit, we get kind of an overview of how good he is. And here's where I'm at, guys. He's very underwhelming, in my opinion. He's not going to be great in general. I think he has some niche case uses. But if we're looking at mid-game accounts, especially if we're looking at low spend or free-to-play, this guy is going to want 8 books, which isn't the most. 8 legendary books. If you're a free-to-play account, your legendary books are limited. If you're mid-game. If you're late-game, even at free-to-play, you're still pretty limited. Because you don't have the option to go buy books. If you're low spend too, you can spend a little money, but you don't want to be buying books. You want to be buying shards or something that's going to be a little more impactful for your low spend amount, your budget. So we're looking at, he's a waste of resources for most people, I would say. Now, if you just really like the way he looks, he does have a very cool aesthetic, and if you're into that, it's a game. Grab him, have a good time. And we'll talk about where you can get value out of him if you do want him. But if you are a mid-game player, he's not worth the resources. In my personal opinion, he's too niche for a mid-game player to want to use and put their resources in. So now let's talk about the possible use cases for him if you just want to grab him. Or if you're late game and you grab him. Obviously, his A2 and A3 has some niche ability in the arena. The issue is, how hard is he going to hit? We don't have multipliers yet. How good is his tandem duo? If you have her, he might be a lot more useful. I think he could work in arena. It's not going to be easy setup. You'd have to have a whole team around him, and you'd either want to go first team to where he automatically for sure gets his A2 in, and then you're hoping for Affinity not to mess you up, and then you go A3, you got 2 AoE nukes. Or you want him to go second, to, where you use the AoE A3 to get the accuracy, and then you use your A2, and then you just do another A1. The setup there is going to be difficult to get and set up, and it's not going to work on all teams, because as soon as you start ending up with bad affinities, it's going to mess it up. But he is a niche use there. Second niche use is 2 AoE nukes means he'd be decent in Doom Tower waves. The problem I see is if you're a mid-game player, you're going to have other options for that. There's epics that do it, and to use him just for that seems weak. If you're in-game or late-game player, you're already going to have your Doom Tower Hard probably mostly taken care of. I do see a lot of people that are interested in using him. They're late game players. They've got the resources and they have the time to use it and to play with him because he might be cool and fun to play with. So again, it's a game. If you want them, grab them. But if we're looking at efficiency and what's going to be best for your account, 99% of players, he's not going to be good for their account. The amount of resources it's going to take for the fusion to get them, plus the amount of resources you'd have to dump into them, 8 Lego books, all brews or time or energy. Then you've got your masteries and minnow. This might be a good time on this fusion for most players, especially mid-game players, to take a break from events because there's always an event going on. And if you're like me, there's always an event going on. So you don't have the ability or the time to work on something else. And so it might be a good time to, instead of working on him and trying to get him, get your masteries for another champion. You've got another Lego set in your vault you want to build and use. Focus on that. Use your Lego books there. Use your resources, your energy and all that there to get the masteries and all that stuff. So that may be a better idea for you. So this might be a good time to take a break. I feel 99% of people are probably going to skip this champion, and I don't feel like that's a bad idea. Yes, there is a small chance he may end up broken something. It's a game at the end of the day, and you can't have the fear of missing out, the FOMO, for every single fusion. I've got 3 fusions set in my vault right now that are horrible just because I grabbed them because they were there. So don't waste your resources. Do what's best for your account. So now we're going to go talk real quick about the Prism shards that are going on. I haven't done a video on the Prism shard pools yet, but we'll just talk about them real quick. So they've done a couple of these now, and in my opinion, most of them have been failures. The last one they did seemed like a cracking fest. They were very expensive to get. They had no rares in the pool and some good legendaries, but you had to spend so much money just to get the pools because there was only 2 pools available for free. Actually, I believe it was 1, and it was hidden behind a very hard turn attack tournament. Then you get ones like this that are the opposite issue, where they have rares in them, and they're a lot cheaper and easier to get. Like if you were to pay money, you could get one for $5 here. We'll see how many they have for free. I know that the Fusion warm-up event has 10. That's half a pool, not even a full pool. But then, it's like a souped-up Ancient. It's a 3% chance. But how good these champions are is if these champions aren't bad. If you're a mid-game player and you can grab 1 or 2 for free, grab them. If you got 10 or 20 bucks you want to blow on it as a low spender, grab them. But I don't think this is something. This is not like the last one where it was like buy if you're a Kraken or a whale and you can get some really good stuff like Newton stuff. Noct is good. Hefrak is good. You got to remember there's a lot of nukers in this game though. So when you're looking at some of these nukers, think about if you already have one. It might not be worth grabbing. Some of these champions are very useful, like Wither the Crown and stuff. My suggestion, again, for a mid-game player, low spend, especially if you're free to play, you don't have a choice. Grab what you can for free, pull a couple, hope you grab a decent epic that you don't have, or a rare. But nothing here is super crazy, so I wouldn't have any FOMO about this event. Grab what you can. If you want to spend a little money, there's worse things to spend money on. That's all I have for you guys today. Just wanted to go over the Fusion and the Prism event. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, please hit the like button. And please subscribe. That helps me out a lot. And I'll see you guys in the next video.